I have a problem. I love comic books, can't get enough of them, but I seem to buy more than I can handle. I just end up leaving them on a chair in my room, saying, nah, I'll get to them at some point, but I don't. I just leave them in that chair. That damn comic book chair. Hello, fellow rejects, and welcome to the first episode of the Comic Book Chair. I, of course, am your host, Zeke Fowler, and today I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite comic books called Devil by Torajio Kishi. The setup for the story is that at some point in the near future, the world is plagued by the SCBS virus. That's the Serious Injury Chronic Bloodsucker Syndrome, for those wondering what the acronym meant. It sweeps across the world, transforming those infected into vampiric beings called devils. Our story takes place a couple years after that in the Kanzaki district of Saga, Japan, and follows two detectives who belong to a privatized police force that takes care of the devil threat. A particular case goes off the rails, and our two protagonists get over themselves and try to save the day. This book's really cool. It's a classic vampire story that involves morality. What is humanity? What is, how are we treating the devil's rights? Are we treating the devil's wrong? And on that point is an interesting segue to our main characters. The first character we are introduced to is Takemoto. He's an old-fashioned, pitch-perfect anti-hero. He does this job because he is paid, and he kills the devils only because it's easier than just trying to grab them and bring them back to the SCBS asylum where they keep the devils. He's very cruel, cynical, a major contrarian, and likes to pick fights with people around him, but at the end of the day, he will step up and help those in need. His partner, Migawa, when we're first introduced to Migawa in the story, she was just assigned to Takemoto to be his partner. She's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, fresh out of the academy. She has all of the book knowledge on devils and absolutely no field experience. The whole book for her is this large trial to show her and show the reader, to ask the question, does she have the guts to deal with the devil threat? An interesting thing about Migawa is that apparently in college she was part of a devil rights group, and the only reason she joined this privatized police force that fights devils is to help the devils, as opposed to just going out and carelessly shooting them like Takemoto. She's a good foil for Takemoto, and both characters rub off on each other as they should. The next main character we're introduced to is Mariko, and she's this floating godchild that has the pure strain of the SCBS virus in her veins, and scientists hope to use her blood to find a cure for the virus and help all of those infected. It's heavily implied, though, that this is just a really dumb idea and there is no stopping the virus, and because of this, she is very resentful of the world around her, and she just wants to watch everything burn because she can't have a real life, and she spends all of her time just floating around in her giant room, taunting everyone around her. The role that Mariko fills is the Hannibal Lecter to Takemoto's Clarice. They play off each other really well, and she's really creepy. You totally see where she's coming from. The other antagonist and the primary threat to the book is Nishioka. Nishioka was a former co-worker of Takemoto's. He has become the ultimate S-class devil, impervious to bullets, can eat a billion people in a single bound. While instead of being just this crazed animal that hunts and feeds, he fully retains his humanity and decided to use his newfound power to lash out at a world that he feels has left him as an outcast. He does things in the book that make him entirely unsympathetic, but the book does do an excellent job at making you feel something for him. Anyway, that's the plot, and those are the characters. So I might as well tell you what I like specifically about this book. The art is incredible. Torajiro Kishi's unique style is a feast for the eyes, and I know you're seeing the images in this video, but really getting the book itself and looking at his art is a recommendation on that alone. You have to see it to believe it's so beautiful. Even the gore is beautiful. Can you believe that? Beautiful gore. The gore is beautiful. The world building of Devil is really strong. It's kind of like the first Highlander movie, in which you know everything that you need to know through the actions and motions of the world. You get why things happen. Maybe you don't need to fully understand why things happen, but you understand why things happen. You understand why the world would look this way, why the world would be this way. The art, because he's both the artist and the writer, both of those marriages create this like totally believable world where glowing blue vampires rip people apart. It's really, really cool. Also, what can be seen as a positive, and I think is a positive, is that this is a one and done mini-series. Like, the trade paperback you buy Devil in, that's all the story there is. There's no, like, going out to a comic book shop and just getting, like, more issues of a run. There's only 4 of those issues in one trade paperback. You get that, that's done. That's the whole story. Now, it wouldn't be entirely fair if it just told you everything I liked about the book. I have to give some major criticisms. What I did not like about this book is that the dialogue can be clunky in places, and I don't blame anyone for this. I mean, this is originally, this guy is a mangaka. He's from Japan. He's a Japanese writer, and they had someone transliterate everything that he'd written. So maybe, so some things don't really work in a conversation, but you totally get the gist of what they're saying, and it's never distracting. It's clunky, but it's never distracting. Also, a lot of the theming in Devil's a bit blunt. My overall score for Devil is a 3 out of 5. While the world of Devil is interesting and the characters are enjoyable, Devil does end up being just another vampire story. That being said, it's a really good vampire story, and I give Devil a full recommendation. The book's only $4. Like, everybody's got $4. Everybody's got $4. I think this book is worth your time and money, and the art alone should be a huge sell for this book. If you're new to comics, I would say this is a good book to dip your toes into to see if you like the genre. If you're a person that only reads manga, this is actually a really good transition book, as Torajio Kishi is a mangaka, and he's famous actually for this book called Maka Maka, which is, I think it's porn. I mean, it's really smartly written, but it might be porn. But anyway, Maka Maka, which is really great. And for veteran comic book fans, if you need a good action fix, this is a great action comic, and like I said, 3 out of 5, but it's also a must read. Okay, so that's all I have to say. Devil, I'll see you next Monday with another comic book out of the comic book chair. See ya.